it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to do part 2 to an update that I have for October, but I'm going to focus this on my self-watering setups. So in the past 2 months or so, I've been slowly transitioning some orchids over into self-watering containers. If they're Oncidium types or very water-loving types, I pack them in a self-watering container with sphagnum moss. And I've spent a lot of time just moving them over, and I wanted to show you guys how everything is going. But this is the typical container. Downside for me is that I can't really see the root system, so that's a bummer. But my goal today is to show you how everything is growing. And this one is my second Oncidium Heaven Sent Sweet Baby. This one is just, hasn't done too much. It's only been in this setup for about a month. So far, I think it's doing fine. But so far, no red flags. This one looks like it's growing some roots. You could see right there. You could see a root popping out right here. Oncidiums like moisture, so I think it's happy. Even though I can't see the root system, I think it's doing just fine. And this is great for when you're away for extended periods of time. But this is the first update. Moving on, I'm going to show you guys my Phalaenopsis. So this one is a Phalaenopsis seedling. I put this into self-watering about 6 weeks ago, and it's thrown out a new leaf. So I believe it's doing well here. It looks happy. The bottom few leaves when I first repotted it were rough, and it's because it was damaged in transport, I believe. But this is in the same setup. I believe I put it in a sphagnum moss with a little bit of bark, topped with a top layer of bark as well. And, you know, it drinks up its water reservoir. It's too bad I can't see the roots inside, but I bet they're growing pretty nicely. The tip of the root here looks like it has grown a little bit. And yeah, this one is a new tip right here. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. That one is for sure new, and that one's popping right out. So this one's doing good. I'm happy with this. This is a 6-week update. Not bad. We should start seeing that leaf. As long as it's larger than the past leaves, then we're doing it right. So this is my Phalaenopsis, my purple Phalaenopsis seedling. Okay, so I was a little bit nervous about these, but this is my Cattleya seedling. And this was a cross, Brasolelio Cattleya, George King, crossed with Waine King Kosaku. And this one I was a little bit nervous about. This was super healthy when I got it. It had a great root system. So I did not want to mess that up. It's been adjusting to this. I'll say that it has grown some roots. So I don't want to disturb the roots too much, but I will show you. I'll remove a few of the pebbles and I'll show you what's going on here. Hopefully we're not disturbing it too much. So it's growing roots and it's going down into the medium, as you can see over here. So I put a layer of pebbles because I was worried that there would be a very dry top layer. And what I found is with these shallow pots, I don't have to worry too much because I think that the wicking efficiency is more reduced in a tall pot, but in a small pot like this where you're closer to the water reservoir, you don't have to worry too much. So this is drier than further in, of course, but it is not bone dry. So these roots are getting down. I did notice there was a root that died off over here. So I think it was just adjusting a little bit. And then I did notice this little root tip over here isn't looking great. But remember, this was 2 plants. If you look at that original video, which I'll link down below, there was this little plant over here and this little plant. And then the lights have been burning the sheath, which is normal for me. But I think this is doing just fine. Did need some time to adjust, in my opinion, because it did not look immediately happy in the beginning. But now I know for sure that these roots are going down into the medium. So moving on, I repotted this one the same day. This is the Dendrobium golden brown crossed with Denate blue. And this is a sort of the same situation. So this one, I don't want to disturb the roots, but I want to, oh, there we go. I can see a few roots here. So yeah, so this one's happy. It appears that it is growing roots. It is growing roots under the top layer, not getting quite inside yet on this side at least, but it is growing roots. And this is staying moist, so the roots are not desiccating with this clay medium. So this one is looking quite happy. The leaves look great. I'm trying to see if I could show you guys a little bit more, if there's more progress here. But honestly, I'm really happy with this. This is great. Let me take you in closer so you can see it. These roots were not there when I repotted this. So very pleased with this. And yeah, let me cover that back up. But yeah, I'll say that I was very worried when I first, oh, my cat has heard a pebble drop and now she's seeing what's going on. Hi, Zoe. I hope she does not jump onto the table. But sometimes when she will jump into my grow shelves and she has knocked down these pebbles, she loves them. Next update, and I hope that she stays at bay. Hello? Hello? So the next update here is the Dendrobium lemon pink crossed with Dendrobium Hollywood. And this is sort of the same boat. So this one is looking pretty good. Good, my cat is finally ignoring me. Hopefully, oh, she might jump on the table though. But anyhow, this one is not fully established, so I'm trying to be careful as I'm showing you the root system. My cat really wants to play with these stones. So I'm not seeing anything here. Hang tight. Nothing on this side. I remember this one didn't have a great root system itself when I repotted it. So let me check on this side, see if there's any new growths. Okay, I see a little bit, which I'll zoom in on shortly. I'm trying to be so careful because I don't want to disturb the root system, and it takes forever for these things to establish, I feel. Okay, so, I mean, I don't have a ton to show. Let me zoom in. There is one new root. Oh, one quick second. There is one new root at the side, as you can see right here. These other roots were there. I'm gonna see if I can find a little more progress. Hopefully it's been growing like the others. Let's see. I'm definitely using these stones to anchor this orchid up. You know, maybe I'll just leave it as is and then we'll do another update next month. But this one looks to be a little bit slower establishing than the others, but it is growing a root, which is good. I don't want to move it too much, and I feel like I'm already sort of disturbing it, and it's my own fault for not, you know, putting it in a clear pot. Hello. So this is my Dendrobium. Are you just watching my plants, Zoe? So this one's a little slower than the other two, but I don't regret it. It's going to take a little time. Moving on to this one. This is my Phalaenopsis hieroglyphica. I'm not going to give an update on my other phals because I only repotted these 2 weeks ago, and as you recall, I repotted it in self-watering sphagnum moss. But I just want to call out that the minute that I potted it in this, it let out a new leaf. And it was only 2 weeks ago when I repotted it. And this leaf popped up right away. So seems to be happy with this, seems to like the extra moisture. And for me, I'm happy with the whole watering setup. So I can have a little water here and I don't have to worry too much. So I was actually soaking my Vanda for some time. This is my Vanda Bangjong Sky Blue. It's been in full water culture for, I believe, 6 weeks. I'll confirm down below. But so far my Vanda's doing all right. So let me pull this out of the water. So it had those two very long roots, and the roots actually started dying off a little bit, and they stopped hydrating the orchid. So let me show you what I mean as I get closer. So those roots, it's been soaked right now, but as you could see right here, you could see that right there, it stopped, it started rotting, or maybe it broke right there. You see that little break point? And it was not hydrating the rest of the orchid. So what I started doing is I started soaking this every other day in water for about 20 minutes. So I guess it's sort of like not full water culture, but since these tips have died off, and you could sort of see in the bottom, they're a little bit rotted on the very, very bottom, little brown. So both of those roots were not hydrating this orchid. But the good news is we've got 5 new root tips. So one in the front there, which is fantastic. You see a couple in the back. These are all going to grow down to the water. And I intend on doing full water culture with this orchid as these root tips hit the bottom of the water reservoir. So I'm likely going to cut off the larger roots because they're not hydrating the orchid at all, because they are a little bit damaged, or a lot of bit damaged. They're just not making, they're just rotted right there, so they're not making that up to the orchid. But I'm going to keep soaking them until these roots are long enough to reach the water. So that's the update on my Vanda. Dead roots, yet new root tips. The overall orchid looks healthy. I did struggle in the beginning with these wrinkled leaves, and I believe it was due to it not being hydrated. I only noticed that like 2 weeks ago, so I've started soaking the orchid and it's doing all right. The rest of the tops of the leaves look fine, and this is a new growth that it has. So that's the update on my Vanda. I'll keep you guys updated, of course, if it does well, if it does poorly, but here's my Vanda. Now my last update for today is my Dendrobium buttercup, and it seems to be taking really well to semi-hydro, self-watering. So as you recall, when I first repotted this, and I'll link this down below, this had a bunch of little growths, and now look at them, they're growing. They are coming up nicely. This one also has a growth that's been popping up, but I'll say that I noticed that there's been, I don't know if it's stressed by the repotting, but the tip of this leaf has browned a little bit. And then also this one has browned at the bottom. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I'm a little concerned. I'll say that I am adjusting the pH of my water. I adjust it to a pH of 6. So I'm aware that in semi-hydro that, it's a less acidic environment than sphagnum moss. So you do need to make adjustments if your water is not within the range of 5.5 and 6.5 where they can absorb nutrients. So that's one consideration that I have. I am happy with this setup because it is maintaining the moisture. The water is going all the way to the top. The pebble top layer is keeping that moisture in, so it is a very humid environment, yet airy environment within the Leca pebbles. I'll say that there's not a ton to show here because it hasn't grown yet. It's been maybe 3 weeks since I've repotted this orchid, but what I do want to show is right here. You could see this root tip. Let me get you closer. It's a little bit hard to see since it's a little frosted in there, but we have a root that's coming out from that new growth. And let me show you, I'm going to uncover some of these pebbles so you can see the progress. This is really, really taking off here. So as you can see, they're growing. So that was not there 3 weeks ago. And I'm so happy because I was concerned that that top layer was going to be very dry. And in the beginning, I took the precaution to spray it maybe every other day. I don't know if that's the reason why this leaf is a little weird looking, but you know, I'll learn from this, but this is really taking off and I'm really excited about it. So hopefully next month we'll start to see updates where these roots will make their way down and we'll be able to see them. But so far I do feel better with this grow method. I was concerned that the water was not going to make it up to the top. The top for sure is drier. You could see the humidity is further down here, but this top layer is not bone dry. And that was my concern. I did not want these roots to die off. So that is my Dendrobium buttercup update. And I will also say with this Dendrobium buttercup that it looks like a lot of the leaves are dying off. This one I'm a little concerned about. I don't know if it's the stress of the repotting or that the leaves are just falling off, which is normal for Dunphiles. But this one is looking a little spotty, but I'm keeping an eye on it. But the leaves are definitely like falling off. And I think it's just normal shedding. Like you could see right here, this yellow one in the middle. It's that leaf is on its way out. So I'll probably just, yep, it fell off right away. Anyhow, that's the update for October. And before my cat jumps on the table, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I will keep you guys updated. I did not show all of my self-watering setups, but I will next month. I will keep you guys updated on progress, whether they're doing well, whether they're doing poorly. I think it's important to share the failures as well as the successes because that's how we learn from each other. And if something doesn't work for me, I'm going to share it with you. And if something's working very well, I'm also going to share that. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.